This is Glambition Radio, episode number 255 with Carolyn Aronson, founder and CEO of It's a 10.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Glambition Radio.
Glambition Radio.
Glambition Radio.
Glambition Radio.
Glambition Radio.
Glambition Radio.
Welcome to Glambition Radio. I am your host, Allie Brown. I'm an entrepreneur, mentor, investor, and founder of The Trust, the modern premier network for 7- and 8-figure women leaders. I love thinking big, doing different, and exploring ideas that disrupt the status quo, especially when it comes to women, because we are creating the new models for leadership, business success, making money, and changing the world. And hey, we're doing it with style. So let's go. It's a 10. You know the product. You've probably been using the product. It is a miracle leave-in, not just a conditioner, but really like this all-in-one. It is a bit of a miracle. And I've used it for years. My daughter, Maddie, loves it. We use it on her hair because it can get a little wild. And I have to say, I didn't even know or really think about the possibility that a woman could have invented it. And that's not unusual, though, because what Carolyn Aronson, the founder of It's a 10, shares today is there's still very few female founder and CEOs in the beauty industry, which is a bit of a shocker, right? And I love just so many things about her story, especially that after experimenting with a product line that bombed, she then said, you know what, I'm going to create one amazing product and double down and go all in. And I think of all the entrepreneurs that come through my door, the ones who have succeeded the furthest, the fastest, and the easiest focus on one thing. And that's why I was so thrilled to learn that about her story. It's now the number one selling brand in all of Ulta, just as an example. Like in every category in Ulta. Like they're it is the number one seller in all Ulta stores. And now it's also in 25,000 professional salons, all kinds of shops, of course, all the drugstores, and now it's just everywhere. It's a great product, so please try it. But you're going to love her story today, and so many little things that I learned about her and her background and how she does business that I was so impressed with. I know you're going to love it. Quick shout out to 2 reviews my team pulled for me from Apple Podcasts. Negar Salehi from the US says, this show has changed my life. I found this podcast in 2019 when I was desperately in search of finding like-minded female entrepreneurs. I had no one around me that thought like this, and I was so lonely. Allie and her guests are the best circle of women entrepreneurs out there. If you want to learn and one day be at the top of the food chain, I like that, this podcast is your holy grail. Thank you so much. And the other one's from Sarah G01 from Canada. A must for every female entrepreneur. This show is packed with real stories and real insight. Every show I have an action, an idea, or a new way of thinking. Plus, I feel inspired. When I feel down or going through a hard moment, as we all do, this is my go-to podcast. After listening, I can say, if they do it, so can I. Thank you, Allie. I love this, and your reviews mean so much. If you submitted a review and entered our Glambition giveaway, we are going to be mailing out your journal, I think this week or next week. My team has them all lined up, and I'm going to be sending you a little note. And if you can also tag and share it on social, we would love that. We appreciate it so much. The number one way new people find out about the show is through listeners like you. And we really appreciate you taking the time. And a last reminder that our show today is sponsored by The Trust. It is my new private premier network for 7- and 8-figure women entrepreneurs. If you or another female leader you know is looking for more powerful connections, more elevated conversation, and a modern platform for connecting with other high-performing women globally, visit jointhetrust.org for more details and to request a brief informational interview. We'd be happy to chat with you about your goals and what you're looking for and see if it's a fit for you. That's jointhetrust.org. With no further ado, I want you to get ready for a great conversation with Carolyn Aronson. Carolyn, I'd like to know if you could share with everyone where you are right now.
I am sitting in my office in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, overlooking the Intercoastal with a couple yachts sitting in front of me.
Sounds like the place to be.
It is. And it is a absolutely pristine day. So no complaints here.
Oh my gosh. So we were just there a few weeks ago. I was hosting a business event for my group, The Trust, in Miami. And then I took the kids down to the Keys. I have twins. They're almost 8 years old. And we just had a blast. We can't wait to come back.
Well, wonderful. And we love to welcome everyone as long as you don't go too crazy, please.
Yeah. Well, apparently everyone's moving there. So hope you got in real estate at the right time.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So this was such a wonderful occurrence. You've been on my list to ask about being on the show for a while. And then, your name came across our desk and we were just so thrilled to have you. And also because I've been a long time user of your products. Beautiful. And now my daughter is. And so what's so wild is I was explaining to her, we were using the spray on her hair the other night. And I said, guess what? And she said, what? I said, I'm talking with the woman who invented this. And she said, a woman invented this? And it was just so great. I know for her to hear, to see, and, she's something she's holding that she knows now the person who invented it.
That's right.
It's so great for our daughters to see these things.
It's so important to make them realize that, they can really achieve anything they set their minds to. So even hair care.
Now, how did this happen? And, so here I am thinking, okay, I have to admit, when I first saw the product, I'm like, does the world need another hair care product, right? Like, hasn't everything been done? That's what you would assume, but it wasn't, was it?
Yes. And so I stood behind the chair for over 20 years and actually owned a salon for a few years as well. And I always was eager to try new hair care products. Kind of always wondered the same thing, like, all right, why is this one different? Do we really need more? That it already all confuses me anyway. So, right. But once in a while, you would just kind of get what I called those golden formulas that would come across my station. And then I would think to myself, okay, so they got one here. Why don't they make the whole line like this? Like, why can't every single product be as good as this one is? So once I migrated into manufacturing of hair care, and, interesting enough, I was not versed in hair product manufacturing, and my first company completely failed. But I learned a lot along the way. And I really set out to make products that gave these really kind of instant miracle results, that someone could pick up a bottle and not be an expert at hair and really get those professional grade results that really instantly changed the hair. And so that was my quest, to create each product to truly be a 10, the best, to have them be very easy to understand and very multifunctional. And 16 years later, here I am, one of the largest and still to this day fastest growing professional hair care brands in the world. We are actually launching worldwide as we speak.
Wow. Did it all start with the Miracle Leave-In conditioner?
It did. That was our very first SKU that we launched with. And because we were broke, we lost everything. My partner and I that started as a 10 hair care, lost everything on the first brand.
Wow.
So we literally took our last $80,000, bought closeout bottles, started with one particular SKU, worked with a chemist on perfecting that SKU and really having it have the qualities that I dreamed it should have. And now 16 years later, we sell over 14 million bottles a year. And that's mainly just in the US. Like I said, we are launching worldwide. We have opened up, I think, 6 countries, and we hope to open up another 9 countries. Within, COVID has slowed us down a little bit, but we are still managing to achieve. Just last week, we opened up Taiwan, and I got video of literally a room full of probably 100 people, all of the salespeople within Taiwan having a huge It's a 10 event. And it was so cool to see them with their pineapples. That's for good luck. And them partying.
Wow.
It was a really great event.
Oh my gosh. And realizing, women all over the world have hair trouble, right?
Yes.
And need a product like this. Was this developed too from your own hair and your own experience, or more of your clients?
Both. Like I said, I've literally done thousands of heads over my 20 years behind the chair. So all different hair types, all ethnicities and textures and colors and everything. So between my own head, which is Puerto Rican hair, which isn't always the easiest to deal with anyway, and actually just my years of touching and feeling thousands of different heads is really how I get to my base formula. And then from there, it goes really to market and to other hairdressers to help me finalize and perfect. But, I definitely have a knack for it, I've realized after all these years.
Yeah.
I've been living and breathing hair since I was eight years old. I've been a licensed hairdresser, still am in 2 states for 38 years. So there's something about the 10,000 hour rule, as they say.
Yeah. Now, almost all, I'm going to guess, of the women listening right now around the world are entrepreneurs, or they're going to want to be entrepreneurs. Many times, and I've seen this with many of the women that I work with and coach personally as well, they're not sure whether to start with an array of products or offerings, right? And go out with this big presentation and all these different options for people and clients, or start with one single offering. You've been through both now. So do you want to talk about the pros and cons maybe of starting with a single product versus a whole line?
Well, I think especially if you were bringing something new, innovative, and something that really, really instantly works to market in any industry, you absolutely can launch with that golden formula and build on it from there. And that is what we did this second time around. The first time we launched our company, we had 9 different products. We had a tremendous amount of QC issues, quality control issues, everything from sprayers that didn't work, labels that bubbled, products viscosity that dissipated. So I think if you can focus, and as I always say, an entrepreneur needs to crawl, walk, and then run. And I think what happens with people, their concepts, and in life period, is we all just want to get up and run. And we forget that there is a building block to success. And having laid a very solid, good foundation to any company is always better than coming out like a shotgun.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so too. And I hope people take that in, because you could really spend time and make that one product or offering just a game changer for the whole industry. And now look at what you've created for the whole world.
Yes. And Allie, it's interesting because you really brought up a very, very good point. You said, do we really need another product? And not only that, do we really need another leave-in conditioner? I mean, listen, leave-in conditioners have been around for probably 40 or 50 years. Easy. So the thing is I created a leave-in conditioner because I actually, and it's labeled on the bottle, leave-in product. It is not just a leave-in conditioner. It is a styling product. It is a, pH equalizer. It is a detangler. It actually helps the health of your own hair, bringing back your own elasticity. So it has so many amazing properties to it. It's not just your typical leave-in conditioner. I created a leave-in product. So I put a new spin on something that has been around for 50 years.
That's really important. I want to pause for a minute because that is so critical. That is so critical that you didn't let people glaze over and look at it as just another leave-in conditioner. You created a new category.
Exactly. And of course now, they always say the biggest form of flattery is being knocked off. Well, I've literally been trying to be knocked off for the last 16 years. And there really is not a brand that has made a dent in my successes. And it's because of how freaking picky I am. Because of my years of experience, I literally don't stop until a product really has unique qualities about it. I always say I almost create these kind of hybrid products that do multiple things, products that, have oxymorons to them. So it's, it's a volumizer that actually leaves your hair healthy. Those two words together usually don't go together, because to create volume, you have to the hair becomes dry, brittle, plumped up. You actually are altering the structure of the hair. Not in my volumizing products. We use natural ingredients, marshmallow extract and things to help give volume, but we also care about the actual, texture of your hair. And we don't want to snap it off. It's gentle hair as it is. It's fragile hair. Yeah, I mean, those are things like that I really put a tremendous amount of thought and effort into every single thing I create.
Yeah. When I learned, which I probably hadn't even realized this, maybe it was a few years ago, that the majority of CEOs in the beauty industry are male. I had to think about that for a minute. It actually didn't make sense to me. Can you talk about your experience in being one of the few, female CEOs who's reached this level with your company?
Yeah. Isn't that wild, Allie? Think about that. The beauty industry is run by men that virtually don't even use what they're hawking, marketing, selling, creating, I find that absolutely mind-blowing. So listen, ladies out there, young hairdressers out there, we need more of you in our industry. We need more female CEOs within the beauty industry. And I am, absolutely honored to have gotten to where I am. And, it's interesting. Recently I was reading something on LinkedIn about how there's some female CEOs that are walking around and now declaring, I'm not going to put the adjective female in front of my CEO position anymore.
Yeah, I've seen that lately. It seems to be a trend. Tell me what you think.
I think that's horrible. I think scream from the mountaintops, you're a female CEO. Scream from the mountaintops, I'm a Hispanic female CEO. Let's keep going, right? I mean, minority CEO. I don't believe that we have to, we're getting so hypersensitive that we don't want to declare who we are because we believe we should just be in CEO positions, whether we're a female or not. Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? That may be the reality of it, but we have a long way to go, baby. And for now, declare who you are because we are not the norm. We have so much more to accomplish, so many more women that need to be inspired by the fact that you did it. You did it. You're a female CEO running in a male industry. Mm-hmm. So I do not agree with that mindset at all. I think if anything, we need to draw more attention to the fact that there are more and more female CEOs, out there within the business world. And we need to really inspire other young women that they too can achieve it.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Cause it's just a strange world right now. So we don't know how people feel about things. So thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Somebody, Allie, so whatever.
Now, I just read a fact that you have quadrupled your e-commerce growth since 2017. Talk to us about, now in the last several years focusing on the online sales. Well, let's talk about all your distribution because, I know you're actually Ulta's best-selling product, which says a lot. Then, now you're doing your own e-commerce. Does that number, the quadrupling, include all avenues or your own?
So just my own.
Wow.
So think about it. We were up like 500% on Ulta's website, which I'm so happy for Ulta. I started with Ulta in like 2008, I think, or 9. And I've been there a lot of years. So I'm absolutely honored and so enthralled with the fact that after all these years of being in their stores, we are really coming out from behind the, we're coming out into the front lines here during the pandemic at that. Mm-hmm. And so, just in my e-commerce sales, which I became sole owner of this company in 2017, and it virtually had no e-commerce presence at that point. So had a huge job in front of me to build the platform out, to build the connection with the public directly. And so over the last 3 years, that has been a major, not only expense to my company, but a major focus. And trust me, there were a lot of times I was absolutely having a heart attack over what something like that costs. Because just to really build once again, the good foundation of a good e-commerce platform takes funds and years to truthfully do correctly. So when the pandemic hit, we were primed and ready to go, and it was a beautiful thing. And so we have just seen our numbers just tripling year after year. And it's just mind blowing how it can actually overshadow what I used to consider the brick and mortar of this company, which was the belly to belly relationships, the professional stylists recommending to their clientele, and which, listen, I will forever be bowing down to my stylists.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but being a brand that has been around for the last 16 years, we are so well known that now, you just put "it's a 10" into Google and all you see is me. And we have really engulfed and become a well-known brand that people just very organically reach out for.
Yeah. What's perfect about your product too, it's a consumable product. It's one you want to, once you use it, you don't want to stop. So it's perfect for subscription, may as well go to you directly. I love that. That's brilliant. And by the way, I have a little stock in Ulta. So thank you for being in Ulta. They've been doing pretty well.
I do. I believed in them for a long time.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think when I started with them, they had hundreds of stores. Now they have thousands. So
yeah,
rah Ulta, as well as, any of these, what I call them specialty retail type of platforms now that I partner with. I'm just a real firm believer in the concept of one-stop shopping.
Mm-hmm.
That's what our consumer wants today. And they don't want it to be difficult and having to go, listen, that's why all these department stores are dying.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't want to have to sit there and go run into a mall and a department store to get their one little particular foundation that, they want to be able to just scan an aisle of multiple foundations that is going to be a great fit for them. And, they're going to touch and feel and try multiple brands in one place. The Home Depot concept has spread into many other industries. And I think it's a beautiful thing. And as a manufacturer, I have now even partnered with companies that have that mentality, a one-stop shop for me. So I can go in and get multiple services under one roof. And I love the mentality. I call it a meeting of the minds.
Let's talk about if you don't mind talking about your partnership a bit. Many of us, myself included, have been through business partnerships and then maybe made changes. And I'm sure there's some things you can't share, but, any tips for people working in business partnerships or having to make big changes in that regard?
Always own 51%.
Mm-hmm.
That's my number one. In any partnership, don't ever have it where there could be a lockdown situation because it's too equal. I think that partnerships can be great. I think if you can do it on your own, it's better. But obviously, when you have a partner, especially when you're starting something from nothing, two minds are better than one, Mm-hmm. But there are a lot of ways that you can consult with people without them becoming your partners or getting a piece of your company.
Yeah.
I think that when you give people pieces of your company, you're opening yourself up for some very dangerous situations that can come to haunt you later on.
Yeah.
And so that is my recommendation. Always own 51%. I would never start another company today that I don't.
Got it. And that's all we need to know. I love that. And it's so true. And I see many women also, I do feel, I'm generalizing, but most of my work has been with women entrepreneurs over the years. And I do see some of them jump into partnerships a little too soon without understanding there's other ways, like you just said, to reward people, to give them a piece of the pie in some way. There's so many other ways to slice it besides giving them a true piece of your company. So thank you for sharing that.
That's right. I would definitely recommend that over actually having partners.
Yeah. I have two questions left. I'll do the business one first. And that is, and I know now you're moving into, I believe, makeup or cosmetics.
Yes.
Tell me about that decision, because that's a big new territory.
It is, and so, It's a 10 really is all about bringing out your own natural beauty. It's a very multicultural brand. It has been since inception, long before it was cool to be multicultural. And so I really believe in this kind of head to toe beauty experience. What we women go through on a regular basis to present our best self really has many, many layers to it. And so I'm really working with that concept to create this head to toe, it's a 10, almost enterprises, all underneath one umbrella. So Be a 10 Cosmetics came from that concept and that passion for the total beauty package. And it's really about bringing out your best beautiful self, whatever that may be, because I think beauty comes in all forms. And really the same concept and the intent behind the hair care I created, I've done with the makeup line. So it's very multifunctional. It's simple and easy to use. You don't need YouTube tutorials or a million brushes. Most of the actual cosmetic products themselves have the applicators already built right into the actual product. Very, very high-end, instant, professional grade quality that literally becomes addictive. The kind of product you pick it up once, like, oh my God, I love this. I have to buy it again and again and again. It's your go-to basic product. I created an entire face that fits in one small little Be a 10 bag. So it's transitioning from day to night, and it's just simple, throw it in your bag. And it really, it's just simplifying an industry that is oversaturated, that is confusing. I mean, you've walked down an aisle of just makeup brushes. There's thousands.
Yeah.
How do you know which one to use for what, for when you layer, it's just really overwhelming. So that was the concept behind it, similar to the hair care, but really raising the bar and making sure that people can instantly pick up a Be a 10 cosmetic and literally get those professional grade results without going through a million steps. It's interesting. My niece is a professional makeup for Chanel. And she said to me, once she used she goes, oh my God, you're cheating. It looks amazing. And you did like 20 less. She called me a cheater. I'm like, that's what I want to hear. Boom, I did it right.
It's like, you did not put in the struggle that you're supposed to put in, apparently. Where can we get the makeup?
The makeup is on bea10cosmetics.com or beattend.com. It's Be10 Cosmetics on Instagram, just so you know. Beattend.com is our website. And that is where we currently are, e-commerce based. I literally just launched last November at the Miss USA event. We were the sponsoring brand for Miss USA. So we are a few months into this, 4 or 5 months into this brand being launched, obviously during a pandemic at that. But we have a lot of amazing things coming up. And yeah, so that's where you can find it.
I read that you work with your husband.
I do.
Tell us what that experience is like.
For us, it's absolutely amazing. I wouldn't recommend it for everyone. My husband is brilliant. So I just am a sponge around him. He's a serial entrepreneur himself. We have multiple brands together as well as, and yes, I do own 51% of those. And yes, we also, he has many companies on his own. And so, you know what? I happen to love it. We never have dead air. Let's put it that way. We always, between our 5 children and our 15 companies, we always have something to talk about.
Yeah. And I read that, you recently had a baby.
I did. She's 7 weeks old. And
oh my gosh.
Oh my God. Are we adoring her?
Oh my gosh. How fantastic.
Her name is Aaliyah Dream.
Oh my gosh. And if I have it correct, that's your first with your current husband, right?
Yes. So we have the Brady Bunch. We have a blended family of 4 children, and we just added a 5th.
Wow. Just fantastic.
Yeah.
Carolyn, thank you just for all your honesty today and sharing what you have already. But I'd love to turn it over to you now to share 3 great pieces of advice for all the women listening. Any last words of advice for them?
I think that there are some very basic phrases that I always look back on in life, and they just seem so applicable, even in business, and I think one is that the phrase, this too shall pass, is absolutely golden because, I think so many people think when you're first starting out, if I could just, if I could just have this, if I could just do that, if I could just get another $100,000 in my bank account to help me do this and do that in my business, or if I could just get through this absolute headache that just happened. This is the mentality that we have as entrepreneurs, because I believe entrepreneurs always want to find a way, but they're always saying, if I could just. And when you have those moments where you really are kind of, I always say, you're standing at the base of the mountain, you're figuring out how to get to the top. And, you have to really be able to kind of zig and zag and find different ways to get to that top, because it is forever changing as an entrepreneur. Just when you think that you are over some of your mountains, there'll be something that, a boulder will come within your path. And this is a roller coaster ride that you will be on for the rest of your entrepreneurial life. So the mentality of, if I could just, is not a great mentality to have. So I think that, and a mentality of this too shall pass is a better mentality, because getting past it doesn't mean it won't ever come again. It just means you're moving forward.
I love that.
And so you found a way a little bit more up the mountain. So that's one of my favorite simple sayings, that, when you think you're absolutely doomed and everything's hitting the fan, realize it will pass.
Yeah, I love that. And that we can count that as 3 pieces of advice in one. That's perfect. That's perfect.
So true.
All right. Carolyn, thank you so much for joining us. Can you give out your website one more time so everyone can go have a look?
Yeah. So we have itsa10haircare.com, and we also have ba10.com.
Fantastic. We can't wait to try your new products. And I can't wait to tell my daughter I finally talked with Carolyn.
And can I tell you, Allie, I'm going to give you a little secret. Since I have a new Aaliyah, we are creating a collection called Tiny 10 from ages 0 to 10. I will make sure we get some to your daughter as soon as it launches.
She would love that. She's learning from mom with the self-care.
I love it.
Yeah. Thanks, Carolyn.
You're welcome, Allie. Take care.
Take care.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Glambition Radio. If you enjoy the show, make sure you subscribe so you automatically get my new shows every week. Also, I'd love if you left us a review so more women like you can discover us. We're on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Pandora, and other major platforms. And I'd love to hear from you personally. Come join the conversation on social. Instagram is my happy place lately, and that's Allie Brown Official, but you can find links to my other platforms at alliebrown.com. Glambition Radio is the elevated conversation for women leaders, and I'm honored you tuned in.